Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to get started making a donut. Now, do I have to have this part of the video in there? No. But people generally like watching clay get cut, so I decided to keep it in there so you could see it. Everybody is going to be getting a chunk of clay, and today in this video we are making the donut form. So once you watch this, you're going to have a really good idea on what and how we are making the donut. You'll be getting a piece of clay this size, and let me just clean this up quick. Once you have your clay, we need to do a little bit of wedging, and that is just getting all the air bubbles out of your clay. This is going to allow your clay to be nice and ready for you to work with it, kind of warming it up and rolling it out. So I'm pulling it towards me, and then I'm going to treat it a little bit like almost a meat patty. So we're making our donut. Before we can make it into a donut, we have to make it into a hamburger patty. So that's kind of the shape that we're looking at to begin with. And I'm constantly moving my clay in my hand, and I'm using that palm of my hand again, so that inside curvature to help with my form. You want to have your edges have the thickness of roughly your thumb this time around, and you want to make sure that it's not skinnier than that, but not thicker than that. So this one is important to have that consistency. If you want to fold over your clay and make sure you're constantly compressing it. If you're using the table, that's perfectly fine. Just don't press into the table too hard, otherwise it does have the potential to stick to the table. Once you have that nice form, and you'll notice that I'm rotating it around so it's a nice circle, you're going to use a paintbrush, find the dead center, and push it in. Swing that paintbrush around a little bit to help make that hole grow, and flip over your donut. Same thing on the opposite side. Once you do that, you're going to use your thumbs and pull that clay out towards the outside, and you want to do that on both sides, and you're going to grow your donut hole. So you can use the paintbrush to make it a little bigger, and then you're going to want to use your fingers and your thumbs to clear out any cracks that you have and any clay folds, so everything's nice and together, because we want everything to look like one cohesive piece of dough. We're smoothing everything out. Once you have everything relatively smoothed out, you're probably going to want to grow that donut hole just a little bit more. So you can use your paintbrush again and just roll it on the inside, or your finger. When you do this, you got to make sure you're constantly turning that donut, so you're not just squeezing one side, but all the sides. So I'm constantly rotating, and I'm flipping my donut back and forth, so I'm working on both sides and not just focusing on one or the other. Smoothing out all the cracks as I progress. Alright, looking pretty good. I'm going to give it a couple taps on the table just to compress my clay again, and circling around, making sure everything's nice and even. I don't want one side to be skinnier than the other. Since it's a donut, I want it to be pretty uniform, as much as possible anyway. By the end of this, they're going to be good enough, they're going to look good enough to eat. Alright. I'm going to check my thickness here and just speed up the video a little bit as we work. And I feel like my donut is just a little bit too wide, because remember, you don't want it to be wider than your thumb. So as I'm working here shortly, I'm going to pull off a little bit of clay, because it just is a little bit thicker than my thumb, and I don't want that to happen. If that happens, we might be in trouble once we are at the kiln. So I'm going to pull off some clay and smooth out those edges again. Remember, as you're working, you can always edit clay as long as it's in the greenware stage. It's very easy to do. Smooth it out once more and get that into the donut shape. And we are almost done with our first step. Pretty cool. Hopefully now you will understand what you're doing for your first step for your donut. Best of luck to everybody, and I hope you create some delicious looking desserts. I'll see you in class.